Hey guys, we're back.
Did you miss me?
Sure.
I wasn't talking to you, actually.
Oh.
I was talking to all my friends out there. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Did you miss me? No, you didn't? Oh, okay.
No, I got you a present, though.
You did?
Yeah.
Should I open it now?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is so cool, dude. What, is this cocaine? Because that would be good if you, or is it crystal meth? They usually put heroin, actually, in these kind of tinfoil things out in California. Wait a minute, this is a trick. This is, there's nothing in here.
It's our 10th episode. It's 10.
It's what?
That's the present for your 10th anniversary.
Is what?
10.
Oh, 10? Because it sounds like tin? It's your 10th
Sure.
episode. 10, so we got the tin foil. You mean it's aluminum foil now, actually, Tori.
Oh, is that what that is? Did the tin lobby go out and say it was discriminatory towards the aluminum
community? Yeah, it's really sad, actually. There've been riots, aluminum metal foil riots.
It all looks the same to me.
Hey, bada bing, because we're all human. They're all metal, I mean, it's just all metal, whether you like heavy metal or death metal or electric wizard metal, whatever kind of metal that is, or, black metal, white metal, anything. It's just metal. I personally like death metal. Die Hard is murder! Yeah!
I can't understand death metal. Whenever someone puts on death metal music, I'm like, what is this static?
Static? Oh my god, you are turning off so many listeners right now, like 2 of them. Actually, probably 0. I don't even think there's any metalheads in our listenership at this point. But, well, hopefully there are. I mean, this might be the 10th episode is a big deal, This might be the one that gets the rest of them. And we got a lot to talk about today, actually. There's a lot going on, man. This world is just getting crazier and crazier. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. Good thing I have my sanity still.
Okay.
All right. Fake it till you make it, guys. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Unuseful Idiots. I'm Noah Fleiss.
I'm Tori Wachtel.
And together we are the Unuseful Idiots.
You said that already.
Well, they don't know that they are, hopefully, also unuseful idiots for tuning in and listening to the truth.
Yes, if you want to become an unuseful idiot, listen to our podcast.
Yes, and don't believe the hype. Don't buy into the propaganda.
Don't believe the hype!
Don't believe the hype. And also, realize that this is the truth, the holistic version of the truth. We examine all sides of the arguments, and we release topical news events, stuff you may have missed, and we kind of deconstruct it and disassemble all the different aspects of what makes our society what it is today. We were one of the first people to broadcast the
Baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside. You heard it here first. The day the article came out a few weeks ago, we were the first to kind of go after that. And that's kind of the stuff you can expect to hear going forward, more of that sort of stuff. So without further ado...
definitely won't be here. You definitely won't hear about it on the mainstream news.
Absolutely not. At least not that soon. You will once it becomes a real big thing because people don't shut up. But, realize that...
But by that time, it won't really be news anymore.
It's not, right. It's old news at that point. And it's all stuff that you know anyway, because the media is just trying to brainwash us, and so we're trying to lead the charge to be the voice of reason here, so that maybe people can wake up and realize we're all humans, we're all imperfect, and we're all doing the best we can, and we only get one shot that we know of, so let's try and live our life to the fullest and be happy, and not really give a shit about what other people are doing. With that said, shall we get into what we have to talk about today?
Yes, so our first topic of discussion will be Kevin Hart.
Oh, my man. You're going to learn today.
Mr.
You...
Well, he's not really the host of the Oscars anymore, but...
Oh, you're going to say Mr. Oscars 2019? So,
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a shame.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Poor guy. Poor little
guy. You know
what?
He did what I wish a lot of people in his situation would do.
Yeah, he was a man. He was just being
I
a
mean,
man.
you know, someone decided to dig up tweets of his from, like, 8 years ago.
Is that what trolling is? No, what's...
No, trolling is like you say stupid, you react to things in a stupid way, like, or you purposely, like, comment on things in, like, funny ways.
Oh, to like draw negative attention.
To get people angry.
I see. Okay, so that's not this.
No.
Someone just was being a stupid idiot, and a real idiot, not an unuseful one. He was being a useful idiot and just tried to bring some shit up from his past.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of...
Haters! Haters out there!
Well, there's been a lot of, like, the left was going after the right for that stuff for a really long time. So then some people on the right, the conservative, you know, like some would say the alt-right, decided, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to do that back.
Right.
And, I mean, it's kind of stupid, but... And... I mean, I get what they were trying to do. It was like, they were trying to say, well, don't you see how stupid you're being?
Well, here's the interesting thing. You know, we see that the right and the left, they're we're superior. I'm on the right. I'm on the left. You know, they're talking about the same fucking thing. They're talking about censorship and freedom of speech. That's it. Both sides. One side wants to censor the other side, but they all want the freedom to express themselves, which is what the fucking Constitution is all about. That's what this country is about, is being able to express ourselves. And yet, each side wants to fucking silence the other side. So it's just this sociological, cultural stalemate that we have here in going into 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
So they're actually agreed. They're fighting for the same thing.
Well, that's the ironic part of it.
Yeah.
And that's what people are trying to point out.
Well, hopefully.
But, you know, it's sort of like when a lot of times when people try and bring this up, they get shut down immediately. And it's very hard to have a conversation and move forward when you can't have a discussion anymore.
Right. Well, that's the whole point. That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
And the other thing is, 8 years ago, Twitter was in Twitter.
Right.
You know, I mean, Twitter was a place where people went and made jokes.
Right, it was like a sounding board.
For
a small community of people.
It definitely wasn't a place where people got their news like today.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's like the whole thing with James Gunn, you know, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. He got in trouble and got fired from directing the new Guardians of the Galaxy because he made some jokes on Twitter, you know, like 10 years ago that I forget what they were about now, but they were of the same thing. They were clearly jokes, but they were jokes in really poor taste. And you know what? I mean, the one thing I will say is the whole cast of Guardians of the Galaxy stuck up for the guy.
People are human. People make mistakes.
Well, even like the cast, it's a diverse cast. It's women, men, black people, Asians.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
pretty diverse.
it's Latino. It's all kinds of
Yeah, you got a
people.
lot of bases
So
covered there.
if they're all going up to bat for this guy, he's obviously not that person who made those tweets. Even if he did believe those tweets at the time, which were clearly jokes.
Right.
So it's the same thing about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's a freaking comedian.
Yeah, his job is to make jokes. That's what he gets paid for,
So
is to not be taken seriously.
If he's going to make a homophobic joke on Twitter 8 years ago, when Twitter was just a place to make jokes, then, you know what? I think give him a pass.
Yeah.
But he stood his ground. He said, he told the Hollywood Foreign Press, he said, listen, these tweets came up in a prior interview. I apologized for them then. I don't need to apologize for them now.
Sounds pretty good to me.
You know, and I mean, so now the Oscars doesn't have a host. I doubt whether they're going to get a host, because if they're attacking Kevin Hart, you know, who are they going to get?
Yeah, I would not want to fill those shoes after that.
I mean,
that's for sure.
They'll probably dig something up on Oprah. Like,
yeah, I mean, this is the trend, man. This is the ultimate silence, which this the world is eventually going to manifest for us Earthlings. You know, it's going to be the great silence where nobody's going to be able to say anything. And the powers that be will eventually get to do what they want to do, which is control our thoughts. You know, it started with advertising, you know, in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, and it's continued right till today. And, you know, thought control is the ultimate goal, you know. And, you know, all this sort of shit is moving us right into that direction. Because you know what? Unless you're listening to people like us, you're going to fall in line, because this is what's getting fed every day. The media portrays all of these major issues, all of these stories as major issues that you need to pick a side on, and they're showing you the side that you need to pick, which is, well, fuck Kevin Hart, because he was, you know, being a human being and a comedian 8 years ago, and we're gonna. So what's the end result? You know, thought control.
I mean, I was talking with someone yesterday, and they were saying how, you know, they know this 95-year-old woman, and she was saying her husband introduced her to MSNBC or something, and so
hi, Mr. MSNBC, nice to meet you.
Like, she's like, you know, she's 95. She probably doesn't pay attention to anything if she's just being introduced to MSNBC. But, so she's like, I watch that Channel 23 all the time. You know, that's the channel MSNBC's on. Mm-hmm. So she goes, I watch the Channel 23 all the time, and I really hate that Trump guy. Right? Yeah, if you only listen to MSNBC, you're going to hate that Trump guy.
Well, that's no surprise there. But, I mean, you know, and that's someone who's intellectual enough to articulate that, you know, whether she was making the connection or not, she at least gave you the reasoning. There's plenty of people who don't even make that.
Yeah, she didn't. I don't think she... I don't know. I mean, I have no idea.
But I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who are just have the news on in the background because they're at work or they're in the car or whatever, and they're getting fed all this bullshit, and they're just sucking it all up, you know, subconsciously even. You know, so what do you expect? What do you fucking expect, man? So thank God we're leading the charge, and if you're listening, you are too. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so, I mean, another comedian got in some trouble this week too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to tell me about this actually. Who was that?
Yeah.
Was that Chris Rock?
Chris Rock.
Oh my God! Now he's one of my all-time favorites. Because if there's a guy that calls it like it is, he's beyond a comedian in my opinion. He's a genius, and because he's able to articulate issues in such a way that's it's engaging, and he's so charismatic and so brilliant that you. And he brings up such good points, He's really talking the truth. He's spitting
right.
the truth.
Listen, I've really come to think that some of the comedians out there are some of the most intelligent people.
Yes.
Because
we know that you love comedians.
They can see, their job is to look at things in a different way from everyone else and make it funny. But the best ones are really understand what's going on.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
And, we talked about it with Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock during Saturday Night Live during the election. Like, their skit was amazing.
Yep.
So this is what happened. So back in 2011 on a show called Talking Funny, it was Louis C.K., Chris Rock, Ricky Gervais, and Jerry Seinfeld. So a clip of the show, I guess, resurfaced on Twitter. And this is what the quote is from the article, is that Chris tells Jerry Seinfeld and Ricky Gervais that Louis C.K. is, quote, the blackest white guy I know. And Louis responded asking, "You're saying I'm an N-word?"
Huh.
And instead of calling him out for his flagrant use of the derogatory word, Chris replied, "Yes, you are the N-wordest white man I have ever..." And then while Ricky cackled loudly to this, Jerry went quiet, saying, "I don't think he can do that. I don't think he has the authority." So
wow, yeah, that's a little. It's like a heated discussion. Let's just say it's a conversation I wouldn't necessarily want to be involved in, just because
Yeah,
but then hot water. You get hot water.
Yeah, but then it goes on to say something like, where is it? So, I don't know. They just go back and forth.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah,
it.
they're Jerry chimes in. He's trying to be the voice of reason. Ricky's asking, well, I don't ever say that word, but then he just did say the word. So Jerry's trying to stay above the fray, and Louis C.K.
Right.
I think is using it as a comedic opportunity.
Right, and then just people brought it up and got outraged on Twitter over it.
Right, because Chris Rock wasn't defending the use of the word. He wasn't saying, no, you guys can't say that or that it's not right. He was laughing and chiming in right along with them.
Right, and a lot of people feel that way. Like, a lot of... I mean, listen, like we were talking about a couple of episodes. Words are words.
Right, well, here's the thing, and you're right, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know the history of that word, the N-word, and how it can affect certain people.
I do feel that's like, if there was a word people would get offended about, that would be the word.
Sure, but there are also 6 million Jews exterminated in fucking ovens and shit and buried alive and performed.
We have 2 of them in our house.
Exactly. We have a lot more than that right now, actually. But there's...
well, we have 2 ovens.
Oh, it's true. You pointed that out to me earlier. We had dinner together here. I saw. I was like, you got 2 ovens, man. Is that just because you want to bake double the Jews? No, just kidding. See, I can say that because I'm Jewish, right? Right? You are too.
Right.
But now some of our listeners might be offended. Don't be. It's just words. See, it's okay. It's all right. Just don't you fucking say it if you're non-Jewish. No. No, see, that's the thing, right? It's like, that's the point of itself. It's like, oh, well, can I say it? You can't say it? Who can say it? Are we supposed to say it? Can't we all just get along? Are we giving too much power to words? Are we paying too much attention to the history of the word instead of what is the intention of the word in the moment? That's the thing. I think people are living so much on the surface nowadays because we're all touching our electronic surfaces and looking down at it and being sucked into this, fake virtual world that we're forgetting to look inside of the other person and see what the hell they're actually saying. Are they saying something in a derogatory way? Are they really putting someone down? Or is it just, is there maybe less of a negative connotation? And are we just ascribing this negative connotation because we're blind to the actual soul and humanity behind the actual word or phrase? And so, to your point, I think words are just words. Absolutely. I also think there are words that have a history that can be very offensive to certain people. But I also think it's our job to kind of pick and choose those battles and see when.
And also, if someone says that word, or any word that offends you, like we were saying on previous episodes, just walk away, and if they continue to harass you, that's when
Tory self-defense 101.
Do things.
Right. That's when you sue them. No, it's
well, we're Jews. That's what we do.
Not this guy. I punch you out. Hey, I punch you out. No, not anymore. No, we just have a discussion. What's up? Where's that coming from? But I think I think we just need to kind of take a step back, and it's really the people that are trying to bring shit like this up. This was a dead thing. This was dead. Nobody was even paying any attention to it.
It's happened all of a sudden, 7 years ago.
And then someone's bright idea was like, oh, let me stir the pot. I'm bored. My life sucks. Let me just stir the pot. And so they fucking throw this shit out, and instead of us focusing on real issues like the amount of plastic that's fucking sitting in the Pacific Ocean that half our ecosystem is probably going to die from, or the fact that the FDA is regulating certain herbal supplements that could definitely be healing because they want the pharmaceutical industry. Instead of fucking focusing on real shit like that, we focus on, oh my god, he said that? That was not... Did you hear how he was taking that? What the connotation... What was the context of how he said... Let's hear, what was the discussion? Fuck it! Who the hell cares? These are words. Words are temporal. You can't touch them. They're not physical. There's nothing to do with them. Let's talk about real shit. Let's do real change. Let's help people. Let's help ourselves. Let's be happier. Let's let shit go. Let's move on. Let's take a chill pill and instead take a step towards action and doing something that's useful. Not stirring this bullshit pot of just old. We're a bunch of old wash women. That's basically what we are. Now, that's going to sound... I know a feminist is going to get mad at me for saying that, but that's just a phrase. It's an old phrase. I don't know if it pertains to today. I don't really know any women that sit around and scrub fucking clothing around in a circle anymore, so it's not really literal. But, we're just being gossipers. You know, and I think that's the problem today is that we're focusing on the wrong things. We're caring more about the things that don't matter and caring less about the things that do. Mic drop. Boom!
Boom!
Next topic, please.
Right. So, this is an interesting one. So, Dr. Rand Paul,
Dr. Rand Paul,
senator from Kentucky,
yes,
does this every year. He comes out with the Festivus Waste Report. You know, Festivus from Seinfeld, the made-up holiday.
So awesome. Love this guy.
So he, in his study, he found that our government wastes over $114 million. That's just waste. That's not like, you know, whether you think the Department of Education should be involved in certain schools or whether the FDA should be. This is just stupid things the government spends their money on.
And might I say, too, this is also not the money that's unaccounted for, because there's also, right, Tori, millions and billions of dollars that's unaccounted for each year. You know, I mean, Colin Powell was famously quoted saying that, you know, there was some astronomical number years ago that was just, they don't even know where it went. And, you know, what came out, which we don't have to get into right now, is that they were going to these USAPs, unacknowledged special access projects. So a lot of the money that we're paying, our taxpayer money, a lot of that money is actually going for shit that we don't even know about. So this is the shit that we know about that's just like straight up garbage. You know, like you'll see in a minute what he's talking about.
Right. So Rand Paul did some math and found out that the average taxpayer pays about $8,128.21 in taxes every year. Now, if you divide that by the total amount of waste he found, then Uncle Sam wasted all the taxes of 14,088 people.
Which, you know, doesn't sound like that many when you're dealing with, you know,
the entire
a quarter
country.
of a billion people in the United States. But it's still a figure. It's still a lot of people. Like, that's the population of you know, some counties
cities
in the Midwest. Yeah, cities, sure. Small cities, definitely.
So here's a couple of the
These are
fun
great.
things.
These are great.
That we found. So now this was at the top of Rand Paul's list, which isn't necessarily silly, but it's definitely not needed. So we provided over $76 million in stipends to soldiers in the Somali National Army.
Again, you know, I'm hesitant to say whether that's a good thing or bad thing. I don't know enough of what's going on in Somalia.
No, but look, so over half this country has less than $1,000 in the bank. Don't you think that money could go to better helping or just being returned to the taxpayers?
You're not wrong.
And that they would make better use of it?
When he's not wrong, folks.
I mean, come on.
All right, but there's some better ones. I mean, that's a good one. That's where the biggest
bulk.
That was the biggest bulk. That was the biggest bulk.
Yeah, so okay. The other one, one of my favorites maybe on this list is the National Institute of Health studied the sexual habits of quails on cocaine.
Quails on cocaine, folks. QOC, baby.
Sounds like a song.
Yeah, really. Definitely.
Quails on cocaine.
Like a bad Armin van Buuren song. No, but the funny thing is, so that and that's $874,503 on studying what kind of sex quails have when you give them a bunch of cocaine. That's what we're saying here. Yes, the government really did that.
Like, what the hell?
Don't even understand it. But the funny thing is, so a lot of the rest of these are not in the millions. They're not even in the 100,000s. But there's a lot in the tens of thousands. To fund a fictionalized opera about Prince Harry, we spent $15,000 on that. No problem.
And $15,000 is definitely not a lot when it comes to, the 100+ million people that pay taxes. But everything adds up.
Yeah, just like when you spend almost $76,000 blowing leaf blowers at lizards. That's another thing that we decided to do.
Or $75,000 making videos to market U.S. colleges to Indian students. Why is the government doing that, though?
Why are they?
Shouldn't the colleges do that?
Yeah. I guess in the same way that $18 million was spent supporting Egyptian tourism from the State Department.
Or the
must be some vested interest there.
Or the almost $362,000 studied on horse and donkey hunting on the ancient Anatolian Peninsula.
That's definitely needed, though. We needed to study the ancient Anatolian Peninsula and the horse and donkey hunting that occurred there.
If you say so.
Oh man, what is this world coming to?
How about the $200,000 to put on plays in Afghanistan?
You know, they need a little more culture over there, perhaps. So now that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
now that we found love, what are we going to do with it?
How about the almost $2.5 million spent on studying daydreaming?
Dude, they could have paid me all that, dude. I do a lot of daydreaming, man.
Like, what?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Like, we spent over $650,000 developing a Pashto language TV drama series for Afghanistan. What?
Sorry, no, I was just dreaming about this Afghan plays that were going on. Anyway, yeah, man,
like
fucking crazy. So now you know. In case you didn't know, that's where your hard-earned money's going.
Right. So next time someone says that the government wastes money, remember this.
Please,
Don't dismiss them going, there are people in need, and that's why we spend so much money. This is why we spend so much money. Doing stupid shit like this.
Yep. This is true.
And we're almost $22 trillion in debt as a country.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like things are going too well. I know I lost a bunch of money on the stock market the last few months.
Yeah, I mean, listen. The Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P are all down over 15% from highs on the year. Like, that's not good.
Nope.
When someone tells you our economy is doing well, no, it's not.
Don't listen to them. All right, what do we got next?
So, next we have these, have you seen these GoFundMe things?
I haven't actually. What do you got?
So, this all happened this week because Trump said that he wasn't going to sign a bill to stop the government shutdown if there wasn't a border wall spending. So, someone went on GoFundMe. It was actually a veteran, an Army veteran. He went on GoFundMe. He started a campaign to build a wall.
Oh, really?
Last I checked, they had about $13 million.
Do they know how much it costs to build a wall?
$5 billion. Well, Trump wants $5 billion.
$5 billion. Okay.
That's how much he says it will cost. It'll cost a lot more than that.
Right.
I mean, and there's all kinds of messes on that front. But so about maybe 24 hours after the guy started to build the wall campaign,
Yeah.
someone started a campaign to build ladders.
To go over the wall.
Right.
Okay. That's interesting.
So,
it's an interesting development.
Right. And then someone else started a campaign to dig tunnels to go under the wall.
Wow.
So, and then...
Did they get any traction, those two?
Yeah, they didn't want as much money. I think the goal for the ladders was only like $100,000.
Did they hit it?
No, I mean, it just started.
All right.
But then I saw someone posted a fake GoFundMe to plant mines around the wall.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank God it
to
was
sort
fake.
of counteract the ladders.
Just gonna keep going back and forth.
Mines around the wall. You can't get the ladders there.
Before we know it, we're gonna be the only place that's gonna be safe is up our ass.
Wait. Hold on. So, this is the best. A Canadian. I saw this. It's a satirical site, so it's not real. But this would have been the best. Yeah. It's outofbooter.com. Well, I mean, it's pronounced out of booter, but it's out of outer. We pronounce it out of outer. Canadians pronounce it out of booter. So,
Oota booter. Ootna booter.
yeah, probably. So, this is the site. This says, Canadian GoFundMe raises $6 billion in 2 hours to pay for privacy hedge along entire U.S. border. That would be awesome.
Cute. That's really funny.
That would be awesome.
Just peek. What are you guys doing over there? Oh, yes. Are you planting mines? Oh, looks quite lovely from here. Have a good day. That's not how Canadians talk, but I don't know. For some reason, I felt regal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just crazy. So, you wanna talk about this Jake Laird Act that they're trying to put into place?
Well, if you want to talk about it, because I don't know what that is.
So, the description of the bill is to authorize the Attorney General to make grants to states that have in place laws that authorize the seizure of firearms from dangerous individuals and for other purposes. Okay, so, this isn't about whether you think guns should be controlled. There should be gun control laws or how strict they should be or whatever. But this is what Nazi Germany did. Like, how can you define a dangerous individual? Like, I have my definition for dangerous individuals.
Well, that's exactly it. Yep.
He has his...
It's all subjective.
Other people have theirs.
Well, this is the same thing that when, like, you know, the U.S. Supreme Court had to first define what the word obscenity meant. Because there were obscenity laws that were restricting all sorts of, sexuality in publications and in culture for many years, especially since the 1800s when there was the first one of the first Hinkin or Riskin or Hiskin.
Right, but the key is
but it's the same idea. It's like, oh, well, what is dangerous? What is obscene? That's subjective.
Right, but the key is this also says at the end, and for other purposes.
Right, so nebulous.
So anything.
Anything, right.
If the government decides you shouldn't have a gun, all right, don't have guns. You know, I mean, that sounds like Nazi Germany to me. I mean...
well, that's the thing. So people are thinking of, oh, the alt-right and the government is... But, like, you know, it's this type of shit that really reflects that sort of mind control.
Right. I mean...
Not what's going on outside of here.
Right. I mean, yeah. If you look at the history in 1928, before Hitler came into power, Germany had imposed strict gun laws. But then what Hitler did is Hitler relaxed those laws. But he still reserved the rights to take guns away from people who he didn't want to have guns. So what happened? Everyone had guns except the Jews, the gays, the gypsies, everyone that ended up being killed in concentration camps.
In transition camps for all your transsexual needs. I'm just kidding.
No, in all the concentration camps, who was there? The Jews,
Yep.
the gays, the gypsies. I mean, obviously our government isn't that, but doing this stuff is kind of scary. Because if someone as scary as people were making Trump out to be is in power, they could do something like Hitler did.
Oh, so you're saying that Trump could be...
Well, no, because he's not. All the accusations on Trump being Hitler are ridiculous.
No, that I agree with.
But people were saying he was Hitler, and if Trump was really that person, he would be a guy who would take advantage of this.
And is he?
No, he's not. I mean, he's obviously not Hitler.
Well, but I'm saying, is he taking advantage of something like this?
No.
Could he?
Yeah, anyone could.
Okay,
Once it becomes a bill, anyone could.
Well, I guess then there's more remains to be seen then.
Well, Trump hasn't shown that, and this hasn't passed.
Right, but it's alluding to the idea that, things are not going in the right direction. But I personally think that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about politics to really comment, but the fact that there's all this shaking up can only mean one thing to me, is that there's going to be a huge turnover in our government of all these officials.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think that
a lot of the people that are resigning are needed.
Yeah,
should have never been hired.
And they were there because they were there a lot of people that were there for a long time. Right?
Well, that's the other thing. There's turnover. Very rarely are people in the same job in the White House for the whole president.
Sure.
They're usually a couple
but not
of
to this,
Secretary of State.
But not to this extent. I mean, it feels like everybody's lost their
job.
No, well,
I mean, we'll talk about that more in depth later.
That's right. A little preview of the remix. Yep. We'll have a whole episode about that, won't we, Tori?
Yeah.
That's coming soon.
Yeah, that's going to be a doozy of an episode.
So we're gonna play a quick game before we let you guys go. Isn't that right?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted.
You want to say something else?
I just wanted to touch on this Talib Kweli.
Oh, we can always talk. We always have time to talk about Talib Kweli.
Right. So a couple of days ago on Twitter, I saw that Talib Kweli tweeted in. It must have been in spite of something Trump did, because that's what they do. And
artists in the hip hop community,
lefties.
Yeah. Yep.
Not left. Not using your left hand. I don't know if he is. Maybe he is.
I'm a lefty when it comes to certain things. But I write with my right hand.
Right. So Talib Kweli. Oh, it was in response to the border wall.
Okay.
So Talib Kweli tweeted that something to the extent of the Nazis built the Berlin Wall to keep the Jews out, or something crazy. I mean, I don't even remember it because it was so crazy. But so a lot of people responded back. They were like, Berlin Wall has nothing to do with Hitler.
Right.
It wasn't built for Hitler. Like, right. It was built after, because
the Iron Curtain.
Berlin was split into, Russia had half of it. Russia had East Berlin.
Right.
And the Allied powers and the rest of the Allied powers had West Berlin.
Right.
So they built a wall in between. This was in like the 60s.
Yeah.
So Hitler was long dead.
Long dead.
Well, maybe not.
Well, that's true.
There's a conspiracy out there.
It's true. It's debatable.
But the whole point is he had no idea what he was talking about. So I responded. I said, yeah, and the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
Good job. Did you do that as an unuseful idiot or as Tory Wachtel?
I did that as an unuseful idiot.
My man! Nice. Way to do it.
Yeah. So
set the record straight.
A lot of people like that one.
Good.
Some guy even posted a GIF from Animal House of that scene.
Nice.
So I mean, that's a little funny.
You gotta step in when it's meant to, and especially in jest. And a moment like that where it's crazy.
Hopefully, it gets us a few more listens.
We're getting there. We're shooting for 420. That's the next our next milestone. 420 listens. Smoke that stuff, shine now, shine. You know what? Let's hold off on the game till next time. We'll give them something to think about. We got a little something for you.
So you were ready to play the game 30 seconds ago, but now you're not?
Nah, I feel like I want to leave something to be desired. Like when you, like in an Amish porno, when you just kind of show them your shoulder, which you can't even see. You're just like, ooh. You just like, I left.
Is that what they do in Amish pornos?
Apparently, supposedly. That's what I've heard.
I thought they can't use electricity, though.
That's true. So it's performed live. It's a live sex act with revealing your ankle.
They go to an art museum and do it there.
I don't know if that's allowed. I think you might just have to gather around at one of their wooden houses.
They do that at like the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Modern Art.
Where someone just goes and sits naked?
It's like
performance art.
Like it's art. They like roll around naked. two women, they'll roll around naked.
Right, it's performance art.
Claim it's art.
Yes, it sure is, especially if I
porn.
can witness it, and I have artistic body parts that respond artistically to certain things like that. On that note, guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope this was another enlightening episode of the Unuseful Idiots podcast for you. Please continue to like us, subscribe, rate, comment, share, do it all. Don't be afraid.
And if you have any suggestions or maybe even want us to answer a question you may have on the air,
feel free.
Email us at theunusefulidiots@gmail.com. If you think you appreciate enough and feel that we're maybe enlightening you, or that, I don't know, you just find us entertaining, throw us $1 on Patreon.
Why not? I mean, as you can see, Tori needs all the moisturizer he can get. So,
yes. I have
very dry skin. Oh, feet, is it? Well, I was massaging your feet earlier. It felt a little crusty. No, or if you just think this is a really good-looking guy and you want to throw him some money, kind of like us. Well, I was strip teasing for you, so I think I'm owed at least a few dollars for that. You can stuff it right in here. Thank you so much, guys. Throw us some money, throw us some likes, throw us some comments, throw us some shares, throw us some love. Even if you just throw us a mental prayer and say hello, we'll feel it, hopefully, maybe. I know Tori will. He's very empathetic in that way.
Yeah.
And we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. Be safe. And smile. That's all you got to do.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Merry Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah Kwanzaa. Merry Christmas. What is it? Christmas Hanukkah Kwanzaa.
Christmas Kwanzaa.
There you go.
Or something like that.
Cool. All right, guys. Have a good